Joining me now, Representative R.J. Hawk, Republican of Bryant. He is a second-term legislator. Is that correct? This is your second term, right?
I'm wrapping up my first term, so this is my first fiscal session.
Yes,
But
yes, yes.
with everything we've done so far, it almost feels like I've been here 2 years.
I feel like you've been there for a long time. All right, let's talk about hoops for kids' sake. It's going to be a little different this year. I got to tell you, I just had Clark Tucker on. I couldn't get you guys in the room together at the same time. Senator Tucker says that y'all have had to change the format this year because there were too many pulled muscles and pulled shoulders and everything from last year. He said this has just been done to benefit the House.
Well, Roby, I thought I was going to have to recruit you to play with us this year because we had two torn Achilles last year, as well as a torn rotator cuff. And two of our guys that went down with an Achilles injury were some of our youngest House members. And so, no, look, we've got people that have not been athletic, whether it be the House or the Senate. They may go to the gym every once in a while, but when you go 5-on-5 full court, things are bound to happen. And so, to try to get more members involved, we went and decided to go 3-on-3 half court this year. We're going to include a governor's team, an attorney general's team, and then we're going to get back to playing true House members versus true Senate members. It ought to be a fun time. It's going to be different, something totally we've never done this before, and so we'll see how it goes. Roby, if you were at the last game, it was an embarrassing showing by the House. I know Clark Tucker and Bart Hester, they've all been talking smack for a couple weeks now because I think we scored a combined 6 points. And so we've got to do better. And I think the 3-on-3 format is going to help that.
All right. And you're a starter, correct? Are you?
Well, yeah, I am one of the starters, yes, along with Speaker Shepard, Austin McCollum, and then other guys playing on the team. We've got Keith Brooks, we've got Cameron Cooper, we've got Chad Pryor. So we've got a good squad that they've got some basketball experience that can at least shoot the basketball well.
Couple of years ago, the House had a former Harlem Globetrotter. That was the days when they dominated there. Tell me what the money will go to, and remind everybody that it's at Central High School and how they can kind of attend if they want to.
Yeah, so it's going to be at 6 o'clock on the 22nd, which is Monday. And all the money goes to the Child Advocacy Centers of Arkansas, as well as Big Brothers Big Sisters. Last year we raised, I want to say it was a little over $25,000 that we split between those two charities. And man, it's just a great time. We talk about the game and people come out and see legislators play basketball, but it's really about just getting everybody together, raising a lot of money for these worthy causes, and that's why we do it. It's not that we're excellent athletes or anything like that. And we moved it from really being this big venue to like the Jack Stevens Center, things like that, to Little Rock Central, to where it's a little bit more intimate setting. Fred Allen he's got his banner hanging from the rafters at Little Rock Central, and so it's cool to see. You've got a legislator that's got his banner up in the rafters, and just a really cool atmosphere.
Fred will give you guys a psychological advantage there in the House. Let's talk about what's been going on at the state legislature. You guys have been there for about a week and a half in your fiscal session. Not really a lot of drama on the budget front at this point in time. Do you expect kind of a drama-free budget side of the session?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think that you're going to see, like we saw today, being Thursday when we did this, that there was some bills that did not pass, and we saw those in the session back when we were in last time. And people got concerns, and it's now time for them to get with the budget committee and work out those concerns. I don't think that we're going to have any monumental, front page of the news stories going on with the budget. But I think you'll see really the biggest thing going on with education, being that we passed LEARNs this last session. Now this is the time to help fund that, and so I know we're working on that. We're working on things that are going to help fully fund that program, and I'm looking forward to seeing what those look like here in the coming weeks.
And a non-fiscal item that is garnering some attention is you guys are going to be dealing with this crypto mining issue. It's a noise nuisance in some communities around the state. There are some concerns too about potential foreign ownership of land in Arkansas. Do you see kind of what the solutions are going to be on that? I know you guys have just passed resolutions to take some things up, but do you think that there's some consensus brewing on what you guys might do?
Well, I mean, we're kind of in uncharted territory because, to my knowledge, there's not been any or very many at all bills passed during the fiscal that were not budgetary bills. And so, I think that we've heard from Arkansans. We've heard them. I don't have crypto mines in my district, but I know many of my colleagues, like up in Bono, Arkansas, Representative Meeks and Jeremiah Moore down in Stuttgart, Clarendon, that area. They've got it. And we are hearing from Arkansans on the daily about the noise nuisance, about the foreign entities that are coming in that are not playing nicely with our county officials, with our local municipalities. And so I think what we've seen so far, the two resolutions that were passed out of the House address exactly that. The talking about giving local control back to these municipalities, and then really working on that sound nuisance. If you've seen the stories about the lady up in Bono, Arkansas, she's been on national news. Her house is within about 1,000 foot of one of these crypto mining centers, and it is incredibly loud. As a real estate agent, her property value is just diminishing every day until we get a fix. And so we've got to work for Arkansans, and we've got to make sure that what we do is protecting them, but also at the same time, we don't want to deter business from Arkansas, right? We don't want foreign entities that are adversaries to the state coming in and taking our land, like what we did with the ag stuff. But at the same time, we've got to put some regulations on crypto, just like every other business entity in the state.
At the beginning of this week, a long anticipated report on the governor's purchase of a $19,000 lectern. That audit was released publicly, and on Tuesday of this last week, there was a legislative joint auditing committee hearing where auditors presented the facts that they found. There was discussion and questions from members of the governor's office, the attorney general's office, and the auditors. Did you get all your questions answered in that legislative process?
I tell you, Roby, I think I had my questions answered 3 or 4 months ago. Look, were there missteps in purchasing of the lectern? Maybe. And I think the governor's staff has even recognized that they were a month on the job, right? And so I think Representative Lundstrom said it best when she said that they've got a budget, they spent money within their budget to buy this, and it's time to move on. And that's where I'm at as well. We've now seen the lectern is in the Capitol. It was on display all week long since the audit has been going on. And so, look, my questions have been answered. I don't think there was any abuse whatsoever of taxpayer dollars, and we move on. That's what the FOI was put to good use by concerned taxpayers, and so they went out. They got their answers or their questions answered, and now it's all out there for the public. We move on now and work for the people of Arkansas.
Lastly, let me ask you a question about the passing of former U.S. Senator David Pryor. I know you're young on the political scene here, but you actually, I think, have a David Pryor story. Share with everybody what that experience was, and maybe a little bit about what you thought of the man, knowing what you know.
For those that don't know me, I spent 14 years on local radio in Little Rock, 1037 The Buzz. And early in my radio career, I was with Tommy Smith and David Basil and Roger Scott. And we always had politicians come on. This was before I ever even thought about getting into politics. And I'll never forget that Mark Pryor came on one week, and David, we didn't talk any politics. We never talked politics. We talked about everything that was in their life. And then the week after that, David Pryor came on, and I tell you, Roby, he was probably one of the nicest human beings that I've ever met. Was very courteous. You never, if you didn't know him, you didn't know that he was a politician. He was just your average Arkansan that was willing to help, and I think that he was what embodies Arkansas as far as personality, that giving way, and man, I couldn't have had a better experience with the man. And he's a good one for sure.
All right. Representative R.J. Hawk, appreciate you spending time with us. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on all of those things. And we'll remind everybody Monday night, April 22nd, go watch the House do their best to take that mantle back from the Senate. I think they've won 5 times in a row. Say that again.
I said, what you mean is that the House is going to win this time. So there you go.
All right, R.J. Hawk, thank you so much.
Thanks, Roby.